So no, I haven't asked my father to intervene. The whole point of a risk management board, what I know throughout this legal process, is the interference that was created came from the royal household.
In a move that has left both supporters and critics stunned, King Charles has reportedly stripped Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's children, Archie and Lilibet, of all royal titles and privileges. The decision has sparked outrage from Prince Harry, who is said to be furious at what he sees as a direct attack on his young family. But what exactly could have led to such a drastic royal crackdown? Or could this be the final break between father and son? Join us as we unravel King Charles's shocking decision on Prince Harry's children. Royal title controversy. Recently, King Charles made a surprising decision to take away the royal titles of Archie and Lilibet, the children of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. This caused a lot of tension within Buckingham Palace. A secret reason behind this decision has now come to light, one that could seriously shake the foundation of the British monarchy. According to newly discovered documents, Archie and Lilibet were born through surrogacy, something Meghan and Harry never told the royal family. This broke long-standing royal traditions, which require full transparency about royal births. When King Charles found out, he was deeply upset. He believed that not knowing about the surrogacy called into question the children's right to royal titles. The media quickly picked up the story, and public reaction was intense. King Charles announced that Archie and Lilibet no longer had the right to be called royals. This not only affected their status, but also threatened the public image Harry and Meghan had built. As more details came out, it became clear that the royal family had kept this issue secret for some time. Rumors had been floating around, but many dismissed them as gossip. However, after digging deeper and reviewing secret files and coded messages, King Charles discovered the truth. The idea that the children were born via surrogacy without the family's knowledge went against everything the monarchy stood for, especially the importance of bloodlines and tradition. This made the king and his advisors very uneasy. As the new monarch, Charles was already facing pressure. Now he had to deal with a serious family and public crisis. He held private meetings with his closest advisors, lawyers, and palace staff to decide what to do. They met late into the night, reviewing the documents and preparing for the fallout. The big issue was this: if Archie and Lilibet's births didn't follow royal protocols, could they still hold royal titles? The answer, according to the king, was no. The monarchy has always valued tradition, ceremony, and clear family history. Every royal birth is usually announced publicly and celebrated in a formal way. When Prince George was born, for example, his birth was a public event, full of royal tradition. But with Archie and Lilibet, there were always questions and secrecy. Faced with a tough choice, King Charles decided to act. Keeping the children's titles would look like the monarchy was ignoring its own rules. But removing their titles would be a dramatic step with no recent example to follow, and it would highlight division within the royal family. However, King Charles chose tradition. He officially removed Archie and Lilibet's royal titles. This showed that the monarchy still follows its long-established rules, even in modern times. The decision sent a strong message. No matter how much the royal family tries to adapt, it is still deeply connected to its history and customs. But how did Prince Harry respond to his father's shocking decision? Let's find out. Prince Harry's reaction. Harry and Meghan were caught completely off guard when news broke in Montecito. People close to the family said Prince Harry, who had stepped away from royal life to build his own path, was furious. This wasn't just about his children. It felt like a personal attack on him. For Meghan, it was just another painful chapter in her rocky relationship with the royal family. Insiders described frantic phone calls, meetings with lawyers, and heated debates about what to do next. The king had spoken. Archie and Lilibet's royal titles were taken away, and this was announced to the world. This change moved them down the line of who could inherit the throne, and stripped them of their prince and princess status and all the perks that came with it. The monarchy's tough move sent a clear message: family ties don't always come first. Many saw this as revenge, deepening the divide between the Sussexes and the crown. King Charles had long insisted on protecting the royal bloodline's purity to keep the monarchy safe from scandal. People's reactions were mixed and quickly split into two camps.
Safely say from my experience and all the traveling that I've done all over the world, speaking to people.
Some praised the king for defending tradition, while others said he was being harsh, especially toward innocent children. The whole story, its legal side, and the pressure it put on the monarchy grabbed headlines worldwide and sparked endless talk and guessing about what might come next. Beyond the drama around Archie and Lilibet, this decision raised big questions about the monarchy's future and the rules it follows. It made people wonder about what royalty really means, who gets to inherit power, and what traditions still matter today. No matter how controversial King Charles's choice was, it sent a strong signal to the world. The monarchy is not just a symbol, but a deep-rooted, historic institution that stands firm, revealing that Archie and Lilibet were born via surrogacy without telling the crown was seen as a serious betrayal under royal rules. This wasn't just about two children. It struck at the heart of the monarchy's survival and power. To understand why King Charles had to remove Archie and Lilibet's royal titles, you have to know how strict and complicated royal rules are. These aren't just polite customs, they're the foundation of the crown's authority, built over hundreds of years. For centuries, the royal family has been tied to these unspoken but powerful rules, designed to protect the monarchy's integrity. Finding out about the secret surrogacy, without telling anyone in the crown, was seen as breaking these rules and putting royal inheritance at risk. Royal protocol isn't just tradition, it's backed by law. Laws like the Act of Settlement, 1701, and the Succession to the Crown, Act 2013, clearly say who is next in line for the throne and what rules must be followed. Simply being born into the royal family isn't enough. There are very strict conditions about how and where a royal baby is born and who is present. Every royal birth in history has been witnessed and recorded to avoid any doubts. Dating back to the 1600s, when people feared babies might be secretly swapped at birth. But with Archie and Lilibet, there were no official witnesses. Rumors spread that there were, but they weren't true. No royal doctors or officials were there, which broke with centuries of tradition. When King Charles asked lawyers to look into Archie's and Lilibet's titles, it wasn't just anger, it was duty. The monarchy isn't just a family, it's part of the law. Surrogacy is legal in many places, but for a royal family that values bloodline and tradition, it's a whole different matter. An undisclosed surrogacy birth breaks the line of succession the monarchy has relied on for hundreds of years. King Charles wasn't just allowed to take action, he had to. Documents showed the crown wasn't told about the surrogacy. No official papers were filed, and no royal doctors or lawyers were informed. This wasn't just a slip-up. It was a serious break of royal law. If left unchecked, it could open the door to claims to the throne that don't follow royal birth rules. King Charles, as the symbol of royal authority, could not let that happen. Royal rules are clear. Who the biological parents are matters a lot to prove a royal's legitimacy. This is not just tradition. It has real legal weight. Every royal birth is carefully recorded to avoid any questions about who belongs. After Meghan gave birth to Archie and Lilibet, the secrecy, missing birth details, and their time away from the public kept people guessing. Did the discovery of surrogacy papers further worsen the situation? Let's take a closer look. The surrogacy scandal. The recent uncovering of secret papers about surrogacy has turned quiet rumors into a full-blown scandal. For centuries, the British monarchy has stood as a symbol of stability, based on a clear and unbroken family line stretching all the way back to William the Conqueror and right up to Queen Elizabeth II. This long chain of rulers has been seen as a perfect example of tradition and continuity around the world. At the heart of this tradition lies a strict idea: the throne can only be passed down through pure bloodlines and legal rights. When that line of inheritance is questioned, chaos often follows. History shows us this again and again. For example, after King Charles II of Spain died, a major war broke out because many people argued about who was the true rightful heir. This reminds us how dangerous it can be when the family history that supports a royal's claim to the throne is suddenly doubted or challenged. King Charles, who has spent much of his life studying the past kings and queens, understood very well that ignoring the recent revelations about Archie and Lily's surrogacy would not just threaten his own reign, it could shake the entire foundation of the monarchy itself. The royal family has always been very serious about keeping their rules and traditions. In fact, in the past, some family members lost their royal titles for breaking these important guidelines. A famous example happened in 1936, when King Edward VIII shocked everyone by giving up the throne to marry Mary Wallace Simpson, an American woman who had been divorced twice. Because of this, Edward had to leave his royal life behind and live as the Duke of Windsor. Another well-known case was Princess Diana, who lost her Royal Highness title after she and Prince Charles divorced. These stories show one clear message. Royal titles are not simply given by birth. They are privileges that come with strict rules and expectations. King Charles's recent decision about Archie and Lily was not about personal feelings or family drama. It was about his duty to protect the monarchy's reputation and history. The monarchy isn't just a symbol, it also follows legal and traditional rules that have kept it strong and respected for hundreds of years. Ignoring the surrogacy news would have allowed secrecy and hidden truths to weaken the royal family's claim to the throne. By removing Archie and Lily's royal titles, King Charles was making a bold statement. He is returning to the monarchy's oldest and most important values. Even as the royal family has modernized in some ways, it still deeply relies on the principle that tradition and legitimacy must never be broken. People outside the palace are split on this decision. Supporters say King Charles is protecting the monarchy's honor, while critics feel the punishment is unfair to innocent children. But for King Charles, the choice was simple and necessary. To keep the royal family's line of succession clear and respected, nothing can be allowed to cast doubt on it. This is about more than just Archie and Lily as individuals. It's about preserving the monarchy itself, a centuries-old institution that has survived because it follows its own set of rules and honors its own customs, no matter how society changes. Losing royal titles is not just about rank. It's a clear warning about how serious the royal family is about maintaining standards of behavior. Through this action, King Charles is sending a strong message to the world. Tradition, heritage, and rightful rule can never be compromised. He has drawn a firm line that will be remembered in royal history for many years to come. His refusal to ignore this issue is a reminder that, while the world may change, the monarchy's core values remain the same. Its rules are firm, and its traditions are respected above all. Rumors about secrets inside Buckingham Palace have been around for a long time, even before King Charles became king. Since Archie Harrison and Lily Diana were born, palace staff quietly talked about the unusual circumstances of their births. To the outside world, they were simply the children of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the Sussex family, who didn't quite fit into the already complicated royal line. But inside the palace, these doubts caused tension, quietly troubling the usual rules and formalities. King Charles, who understands royal history better than most, could not ignore these whispers. From the very start of his reign, he began investigating the matter, not out of anger, but because he felt it was his duty to protect the throne and everything it represents. So what did King Charles's investigation reveal? Let's take a look. King Charles's hidden investigation. For hundreds of years, the royal family had followed very strict rules about who could be king or queen. These rules about family lines and who inherits the throne were considered sacred. To break these rules was to threaten not just tradition, but the very right of the royal family to rule the country. So, deciding to investigate was not something taken lightly. It was difficult, but absolutely necessary. The first part of this investigation was kept secret from the public. King Charles reached out to his most trusted advisors, people who had been loyal to the crown for many years, and understood how the royal family worked behind the scenes. These advisors were not just any helpers. They had once been close to the Queen herself and knew about secrets that were never meant to be known. They had witnessed how powerful reputations were built and destroyed over time. Their mission was clear: find out the truth, stop any lies, and protect the throne and the royal bloodline's honor. The investigation began by carefully going through old royal records. These records were not just random notes. They were detailed accounts of births, marriages, and deaths in the royal family, written down with great care. Every detail was like strong proof showing who truly belonged to the royal line. For example, when Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis were born, their arrivals were celebrated with great excitement. The public saw Kate Middleton proudly leaving St. Mary's Hospital with her new baby, showing the world the royal family's strength and continuity. But things were very different when Archie and Lilibet were born. Their births were kept hidden. There were no joyful appearances outside the hospital, no royal announcements, nothing like the grand celebration seen before. It was as if they were born behind a curtain, away from public view. The first part of the investigation uncovered strange details about their birth records. Important medical papers were missing, their birth certificates were delayed, and even the doctor's signatures on the documents seemed suspicious. These findings raised serious alarms and were quickly reported to King Charles, who had spent his whole life following royal traditions closely. Quietly, King Charles decided to dig deeper into the matter from his residence at Clarence House. He sent trusted aides all the way to the United States, where Archie and Lily were born. Their task was simple but important: check all the birth records carefully and find any signs of dishonesty. What they found shocked the royal family to its core. In California, inside a private medical clinic, they discovered official sealed documents showing that both children had been born through surrogacy. People close to the investigation said these documents were very reliable. They were signed, notarized, and kept under strict security. The scandal was not about using a surrogate mother. That is something many families do today with the help of modern medicine, and it brings great joy. The real issue was that this information was kept secret from the royal family. According to royal tradition, there should be no secrets about royal births or family lines. It's not just about biology, it's about inheritance and making sure everyone knows exactly who is in line for the throne. Harry and Meghan, by hiding the truth that their children were born via surrogate, went against these long-held royal rules. The official papers, photographs, and sworn statements were all shown to King Charles in private meetings in his quiet study. Those close to the palace said that while the king was deeply troubled, he did not show anger or rage, only a serious and determined focus. For King Charles, the monarchy was more than just his family. It was about respect for tradition, following rules, and being open and honest. He understood that if he ignored the warning signs, he might lose not only his control, but also the very throne itself. So he called urgent meetings with legal experts, constitutional advisors, and senior members of the royal household. These discussions were intense, covering questions about the legal standing of the new evidence and how it could affect the line of succession. As the investigation went on, more strange things came to light. There were mismatches in travel logs, strange phone calls, and even public appearances where the children were involved in charity work. All seemed carefully arranged to keep the truth hidden. It looked like there had been a deliberate cover-up. For King Charles, all this evidence was pushing him toward a tough decision. He held a secret meeting with the top royal family members, along with the Archbishop of Canterbury and Lord Chamberlain. The room was heavy with silence. Then King Charles announced the results clearly and with full agreement from those present. Archie and Lilibet were indeed born through surrogacy, and this important fact had been kept from the royal family. Was it fair to take away the children's titles over something so personal? Or was it the only way to preserve the royal image? And how did Meghan respond to it all? Let's find out. Meghan's stand against royal tradition. Meghan's first reaction to the shocking news didn't come through a press conference or a long interview. It came through a sharp, carefully written post on social media. Her message was short and direct, with powerful words that couldn't be ignored. One sentence in particular stood out. It was quoted everywhere, on news websites, TV shows, and social media platforms. At first glance, it seemed simple, but behind those few words was a much deeper meaning. Many people saw it as a bold response to the same royal institution that had taken away her children's royal titles. Meghan's post wasn't just a statement, it was a stand. It was a message of defiance and strength. She was calling for a new way of thinking about what it means to be royal, a definition not tied to tradition or palaces, but to dignity and identity. The public reaction came fast, and it split people down the middle. Her supporters praised her bravery. They felt she was standing up to injustice and defending her children. Social media lit up with hashtags like #StandWithMeg and #JusticeForArchie and Lilibet. Celebrities, journalists, and public figures joined in, criticizing the monarchy for choosing old customs over family and love. But on the other side, loyal fans of the royal family defended King Charles. They believed he had simply followed royal rules and traditions, which had guided the monarchy for generations. To them, keeping the royal line pure and respecting long-standing protocols was more important than changing with the times. What shocked many people even more was the claim that Archie and Lilibet had been born through surrogacy, a method that's accepted in many modern families, but had never been openly discussed in royal circles. And according to reports, Meghan and Harry had not asked for the royal family's approval or shared this information publicly. Some insiders viewed this as breaking royal trust and a serious breach of centuries-old rules. The media exploded with coverage. Talk shows and news anchors argued about whether King Charles was right to stick with tradition. Headlines ranged from sympathetic stories about Meghan's struggle to harsh critiques about her choices. It felt like the whole world had something to say, and the divide between Meghan's life in America and the royal family in the UK seemed wider than ever. But Meghan wasn't done. Soon after, she sat down for a major interview with a well-known American journalist. The world held its breath. This was Meghan's chance to finally speak openly, to explain what had happened behind closed doors, to show how deeply all of this had affected her and her family. The interview aired live to millions. It was part heartfelt confession, part quiet protest. Meghan appeared calm but emotional, her words carefully chosen, her pain visible but controlled. Then came the moment that broke through the noise. She paused mid-sentence, her eyes filling with tears, her voice softened to a whisper. "I've done everything I could to protect my children," she said. "I thought if they had titles, they'd always know where they came from. I truly believed that. But now, it feels like they've been erased." So what do you think about King Charles's sudden decision to strip Prince Harry's children of their titles and privileges? Is it worth it? Share your opinion with us in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe.